Dear Simon and the collective comparators of culpability. Not sure that works. I'm seeking forgiveness for an unfortunate incident whilst working as one of Her Majesty's finest. In November, I think what Craig is saying is he was a copper. In November 2013, on a cold and stormy evening, I was asked to go to the local nunnery following the untimely passing of one of the sisters. There's a bit of an Agatha Christie feel to this.
I don't think there is. I mean, you know.
Bit of a P.D. James. P.D. James? That's what it is.
Okay.
Upon arrival, I spoke to the Mother Superior and the great-great-niece of the deceased sister, who was a very attractive, newly qualified doctor. She was acting as the next of kin as her mother was away on holiday. Between the Mother Superior and the niece, I established that there was no foul play and that at the age of 93, the sister had passed peacefully in her sleep. The protocol in this situation means I had to complete a report to the local coroner for any inquest that may be needed. I used this time to chat to the niece about her budding career in one of our local A&E departments. I must admit I felt a little chemistry between myself and the young doctor. And as a man in his mid-20s, in uniform, I was boasting about my endless bravery, my ability to rid the area of our local rogues and ragamuffins by the mere mention of my name. Basically, Simon, I was showing off in the hope of the next time I might bump into in the local A&E, I might either get her number and take her on a date or get the prisoner I was escorting examined a little quicker. Either one would have been a bonus.
What?
He's working a number of jobs
yes,
here. That's
clearly, yeah, a couple of angles, right?
that's what he's doing. Anyway, back to the nunnery.
Yes.
You'll remember that's where we were. The last part of the paperwork I have to fill in involves a formal identification, says Craig. The niece gladly offered to accompany me into the small chapel where the sister was resting and formally identify her. We go into the candlelit chapel together and whisper about how peaceful she looked. Lying on a bed, flowers surrounding, and so on. There was also a 4-foot stone statue of the Virgin Mary looking over at the end of the bed.
I think we've all got in our heads what's going to happen now.
But I don't think so. Outside, the storm is raging.
Oh no!
It's begun to thunder and lightning flashed into the chapel in a rather uncomfortable way. After a couple of minutes, I pay my respects to the sister and turn to leave. When I think I noticed the hands of the statue moving slightly. Surely my eyes were just deceiving me. I was in a church and the weather was rather spooky. Get a grip, man, I think. I shrugged it off. I'm a man of the law. I'm meant to be tough. As I head towards the door, I hear a tiny, quiet voice say, Amen.
That voice again.
Both me and the niece look at each other. We're the only ones in the chapel, and neither of us had said a word. But we definitely heard the Amen. I glance at the sister, who's still peacefully lying on the table. She is still dead, I can confirm. It was then that we noticed the statue's hand was no longer praying. The statue's hands were actually moving. They were now down by her side. The statue had moved. The sight of a stone statue coming to life literally caused a level of panic in both me and the doctor. We both let out a large, high-pitched scream, and we headed for the door. The thunder and lightning was getting worse, and the door seemed such a long way away. It was getting further and further away. In my haste to reach for the exit, I might have pushed her out the way,
right.
causing the niece to fall over.
Yeah, well done. Smooth.
And for my paper report to go everywhere. Once out of the room and making the Mother Superior aware of the incident, it became apparent that the statue was actually Sister Dominica.
Of course.
One of the sisters, who just happened to be small. and she didn't
just
move.
happened to be small.
She just happened to be small.
That's all.
And not moving very much.
And made of stone.
And she wasn't actually a stone monster from Doctor Who.
Oh, right.
Like one of the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
No, not one of those. Unfortunately, the sister was praying silently at the end of the bed, and the way the lightning and the shadows fell on her made it look as she was made out of stone. It was an easy mistake to make. She was barely moving. Anyway, Father Simon, I seek forgiveness not from the niece who was thrown to the floor in my bid to escape. She should have moved quicker. Nor from the statuesque sister. Not sure that's the right word anyway. She should have spoken sooner, all that ridiculous silence. Speak up, woman! I don't think you quite got it, Craig, have you? No. I seek forgiveness, though, from the Mother Superior and the rest of the sisters stood outside the chapel who would have certainly heard the Lord's name taken in vain, I'm afraid. I'm not sure they would have expected one of the force's finest to even have known language such as what came out of my mouth.
Yeah,
never mind the scream in their place of worship. I rather embarrassedly apologised and left as quickly as I could, with a number of sisters seeing the funny side, my lack of professionalism. Fortunately, the niece was also unhurt from her fall, and I was able to apologise properly for that and many other mistakes I made as we dated for a couple of years.
Really?
Whilst we are sadly no longer together, I think I need full forgiveness from you and the listeners. Well, there was a surprising thing, because you would think if the good-looking niece had her wits about her, she might have thought, okay, I think the clue is the fact he pushed me out of the way, rather than being gallant and trying to help me because there was a weeping angel coming to attack me and tear my soul from my living body. Anyway, Sister Bobby.
That's hilarious. And I think actually any of the nuns or any nuns would laugh with you, because they've got a great sense of humour, haven't they, nuns?
I don't know.
Yeah, they have, of course. They
How do
deal
you
with
know
all
that,
sorts
then?
of, well, they deal with all sorts of things in life. So I think, a sense of humour is one of the ways that, they
I
deal
bet some
with
of them
things.
have, but I've seen Sound of Music. Some of them didn't.
Okay. All right, I think a lot of them have, and I think they would be fine if, Craig, this time, I kind of forgive you for what you asked to be forgiven for, but that niece, I think she got away, and I'm glad she got away, because I think you maybe not be the best person for her future, given the fact that you pushed her out of the way. That's not very
Also,
gallant,
who
is it?
confuses a real person for a statue
Well, I
made
think
out of
actually
stone?
the thing is, though, the difficult thing is that you're lighting, and also it's one of those unreal situations. It's not normal, so kind of your usual faculties don't work in the usual way. It's different parameters. However, I do think, although I'm not sure really on the ceremony, whether if someone enters the room, maybe you acknowledge them, but then she was praying silently and you didn't want to disturb her, so it's difficult. I don't know what's right there, but actually, Craig, you are forgiven today, this time.
In matters of religion, we always turn to Brother
Obviously,
Matthew
of which I am very much an authority. So here we have the thin blue line turning the air blue in front of a blue nun, almost.
wow.
Yes, very good indeed. Clearly, Craig needed some... Didn't he not need to have to pass a sight test in order to be a copper? You walk in and you confuse someone with a statue just because they're standing immobile, or probably actually not, and even moving their hands, and you couldn't tell, oh, that's not a statue, it's a person, and here I am in a convent, it's probably a nun. So I'm not going to forgive this time. I think, and how on earth did he persuade her to go out with him afterwards? Unbelievable. So yes, I'm not going to forgive.